Hello, you math all-stars. This video is going to explain how to multiply and divide integers with positive or negative signs and what the result is and some patterns that we can pick up on. One way to remember what happens when you multiply and divide integers is this phrase here, that if you have the same signs, then the product or the quotient will be positive. The answer will be positive. If they're different signs, then the answer will be negative. So for example, if I had the same sign, let's just use positive signs, and you can do multiplication with an X. Sometimes you might see it with a dot. I know in our textbook they use a dot, so I'm going to use a dot, but that means multiply. You could also just see parentheses, so they could leave out the dot and the multiplication sign and just put them next to each other in parentheses. That also means multiply. So all three of these mean the same thing. So there's just different ways to write a product, but they all will equal 3 times 3, 9. So when they have the same signs, which the sign is whether it's positive or negative, they have both positive signs, so the answer will be positive. So 3 times 3 is 9, and that is positive 9. I'm just writing it so that we see that the answer is positive. If the signs are different, if one of these is negative 3 and the other one is positive 3, that's when the answer becomes negative. So it's still 3 times 3, but since there is one negative, the answer is negative. If they were both negative, they would have the same signs again, and then that would be positive again. So if one of your factors is negative, the answer will be negative. If both are negative, then the answer is positive. What happens if there were 3 negatives? If we were going to do negative 2 times negative 3 times negative 3. Well, since multiplication is commutative, it doesn't matter what order you do these in. You can switch the order of the factors. So you could figure out just what the solution to 2 of them would be, and then multiply that solution by the remaining factor. So since they're the same signs, negative and negative, the answer will be positive. So 2 times 3 gives you 6, and it is positive. So now I have two numbers again. I have positive 6 times negative 3. Now the signs are different, so the answer will be negative. So 3 times 6 is 18. And since the signs are different now, it will be negative 18. Even if I grouped it differently and I did negative 2 times negative 3 times negative 3, this would be positive 9 times negative 2. Since the signs are different, it still gives you negative 18. So if there are an even number of negative numbers, the answer will be positive. If there's 2 negative numbers that you're multiplying, it'll be positive. If there's 4, it'll be positive. If there's an odd number of negative numbers, then your answer will be negative. This is the same way with division. So I'm going to write our division problems using the fraction bar, since fractions are basically division. Let's start with an easy one like 2 divided by 4. So that I'm going to write 2 divided by 4. And to remind you, these are positive numbers. Positive 2 divided by positive 4. We know that that is 1/2. And it's positive 1/2. Both signs are positive, so your answer is positive. You're taking 2 and dividing it by 4. If it were a little bit harder, maybe 33 divided by 11. Your answer is positive because both parts of your division problem are positive, so your answer will be positive. They have the same sign. They'll end up being positive, so you'll get a positive 3 as the answer in this case. If one, and it doesn't matter which one, if one of these numbers is negative, it will make your answer negative. So negative 33 divided by 11 is negative 3 because one of the numbers is negative, one of the numbers is positive. If they're both negative, since they have the same signs, it will become positive for your answer. And it's convenient that it works this way because it's really similar to the addition and subtraction rules. When you add a positive, it increases, it's adding. When you subtract a negative, it increases, it's adding still. But when the signs are different, it's subtracting. So I guess if you picture it as adding being like positive, so if the signs are the same, you add them and it's positive. When the signs are different, you subtract them and it is negative. All right. Practice these. If you have any questions, ask them in class. Have an awesome day.